off right away, while lower prestige teams provide a greater challenge to build into contenders. The choice is up to you.
Alright, so when you pick your team, like you can see the overall. Like they're 78 overall. Washington Huskies are 84, a lot better. One of the best teams. But
And
you
now
start there.
you'll choose to create a coach of your own. Congratulations, it's time to sign your first coaching contract.
Alright, so first thing he says, set up recruiting board and scout prospects. When you look at that, when you go to add a prospect, or if you press R1 and go to the prospect list, you see all the big red needs. So that's a position you probably need. The transfer portal is other recruits that you can get from other colleges, if that's not till the end of the season. The My School just shows what your school is good at. So on the right, you can see UConn is the 130th ranked school, so they're very low. C minus campus lifestyle. Excuse me, D plus stadium atmosphere, but they're good at conference prestige, academic prestige. You can see on the right, they're top 30 in academic prestige. So players who really care about that, you have a leg up on trying to get them. What I would probably do is look at your team. So press R1 to go to the team, look at the depth chart, and you kind of can see what you need. And you press R2 to go by the positions. 80 on the overall, 80 and above is good. The other thing you want to look at is what year that they're in. So the first quarterback's a sophomore. He's not amazing, but he will get better as the season goes on, and since he's a sophomore, it's not an immediate need to get them necessarily. A lot of players, it seems, won't go to the NFL unless they're super duper good. And the little RS stands for red shirt. Players get to have an extra year of eligibility, so technically, even though you're only supposed to be in college for 4 years, you can play 5 years in football. So this guy here, Joe Fagnano, he's a redshirted senior. This is his 5th year, where this guy is a redshirted sophomore, so it's actually his 3rd year, even though he's a sophomore. So he has 3 more years. That, obviously you just go by the SO, the class. So I would look at your team and kind of see 78 overall halfback, that's a junior. Fullback, wouldn't really worry about. Not a lot of teams use fullbacks. Wide receiver got an 80 overall wide receiver. I would say anything 80 and above is good, but you can see he's a senior, so he's definitely gone next year. You're not going to be able to have him again. So definitely want to, start pumping in the talent. With a team like this, who's so, not great overall, it kind of doesn't really matter. You just want to get whatever prospects are interested in you talent-wise. You might have some weaknesses, talent across the board, but something to think about. Lots of seniors, so looks like most of the good players are seniors, which that's typically how it works. But so then when you go to the recruiting board, you can click add a prospect and it'll take you to the prospect list. Excuse me. You can see all your needs. You can sort by how good they are. So, we get twice. You have one 4-star prospect that's interested in you. This guy here, Jason Frank, his interest is he is 7th. So, real quick in the bottom right, if you just right stick over, you can see that, Penn State, Rutgers, Syracuse, Boston College, Pitt, they all have a pretty high interest. Okay, and maybe this guy here, not as much interested. I mean, it's a punter, that's why, but not as much interested. So you might be easier to compete. Um, let's see if we can find someone that's really low. That one's pretty low. You know, none of them are really super duper high on the bottom right there, so you got a fighting chance to win over. Then another thing you can do is you can sort by interest. So all these guys here, he's only a 1-star, but you're his #1 school. This guy here, he's a 3-star, and you're his #1 school. So you got a leg up for trying to win him. Same thing with Mr. Wolf here. You know, you're the #1 school, so it's an easier battle, right? And then you can sort on the right by all the different star prospects and the states that they come from. Obviously, people that are from Connecticut, you probably have a higher chance. See, all these people in Connecticut are interested. Granted, they're not the best prospects in the world, but you have a good chance of getting them. Where if you go to Arkansas, that's Alaska. If you go to Arkansas, not a single one of these people want to go all the way to Connecticut, right? Now, the stage here is how close they are to cutting teams down the list. So anyone that says open, they are open for all offers and invitations. This guy here, he's already in his top 8 section. Then eventually there's top 5, top 3. And as you go through the process, you can, teams get cut, and you can offer more things once the stages progress. So just to add someone, right, we'll just do people we're interested in, make it simple. Right, I'll do all the 3 stars. Right, so we'll add this guy, Larry Hufanga, Maurice Uzama, Spencer Bridges. There's a Forcer that's interested, that's cool. Over here, depending on your pipeline, depending on the coach you have or made, that kind of influences your ability to pull players from certain areas. Now, in the top right, you'll see the targets. You have 4. You can get 35 total a year. Targets are your active people. Scholarships, you have 35 scholarships you can send out. And the hours are the resource you have available to recruit them. So for the first week, there's not a lot that's going to happen. Let's see if let me add one guy that's also maybe not super interested in us. We'll add this in here. So we're not in his top 10. We'll see how he progresses. So when you go here, you click on them. You have to click in and out to highlight the menu on the right. And so you have the overview of all the schools. You have the recruiting of options, and then you have the scouting to scout them. Okay? So it costs 10 hours to scout them, and you don't get to completely scout them right away. You have to do a little bit at a time. So boom, it told me his break sack stat is 73. We see kind of a range for his other abilities. You just keep on scouting, and now we have a fully scouted player with all his stats, lots of things in the 80s, 70s. There's some abilities on the right. Let's get same thing here. Let's see if we so he's very fast. So he's an athlete, so what's going to happen is you have to change his position during the year. You have to decide if you're going to make him a running back or a wide receiver or whatever. Because his tendency, if you look at his name and you scroll over to the right and you see tendency scrambler, scrambler is a quarterback ability or a quarterback tendency, so he's going to be a quarterback more than likely. But not all athletes are the same. If we look at this other athlete, let's see this other guy down here, he's also a scrambler, so he's also a quarterback. But let me just scout out the rest of these. You don't necessarily always have to completely scout them first, but it kind of, can show you who you want to get involved with. I'm trying to see if I can find a diamond. Not yet. Well, maybe next week. So early on, first stage, all you can do is offer a scholarship. You don't have to do that right away, but that's only the first thing you can do in this first week of the year. So we can offer scholarships to all these guys that cost 5 points. you look in the top right, the hours are going down, the scholarships are going up. And obviously, we have a lot of hours left over, so we can add a couple more people. Let me see if I can, trying to see if I can find there's little, like, special things. There's diamonds in the rough. Oops. So, Mr. Scruggs, Buster Scruggs. So let's scout him. So if a green diamond pops up on the screen, I want to show you. Haven't found one yet, but like once you completely scout a guy, a big green diamond will pop up, and they'll either stick around or it'll break, disappear. That hasn't happened yet. All right, so I'm gonna offer more scholarships. All right, so after 8 scholarships, you can offer scholarships early on. No one's gonna sign up right away, and you can always revoke it, so it's not the end of the world. So we're all done for the week. If you look at the top right, have no more hours. So you would have to, play your game or sim your game. Now, something I want to show you is your coach. Let's advance this week. You get a little recruiting update. Spencer Bridges, he has moved to his top 3 schools, which I don't know if you caught that, but we placed 3rd. We are 3rd on his list of top 3 schools, or top 8 schools. So we're progressing. If you look in the top right, you see your coach, and you see the little coins, the 0. You use those coins to update the abilities. If you go to coach and you go to abilities, there's a series of abilities here. Now, this coach is a pre-made coach, so he has set up abilities already. When you make your first guy, I think you'll get like 10 coins, so you can spend some. If you go to the recruiter one on the left, depending on what position you pick, offensive linemen, for 5 coins, offensive linemen take less time to fully scout. So you won't have to spend as much time to scout these guys. Wide receivers take less time, running backs take less time, and then the other boosts just give you more hours or give you more bonuses. There are some other recruiting bonuses. They're in one of these. Motivator, maybe? I don't remember. That can give you some recruiting bonuses, but most of the recruiting bonuses are going to be in Recruiter. Oh, I think it's in, like, Talent Developer. Yeah, that makes sense, because these are like a grid, right? So Recruiter's on the far left, so the Strategist and the Talent Developer have some bonuses to recruiting, too. Offensive lineman transfers are more interested, things like that. So we're in the next week. We don't have to play a game this week, so we're done there. And then usually recruiting is the last thing you do. So as you can see, we have 400 hours. Now, these guys here, we have the ability now to do some recruiting actions. And you can either, you can search social media to learn more about them, DM the player to learn more about them, contact friends and family, or send the house to learn more about them. And what that's going to do is on this far right side here, it's going to highlight what they are interested in. So this guy is very interested in going to a school close to home, which we have an A+ for, since he's from New Jersey and we're in Connecticut. So when it comes time for him to come visit us, that's something we would want to talk about. Now, these things here that you add, they are permanent until you or not permanent, reoccurring until you sign the guy or he leaves. So we can search his social media, and if you look in the top right, or not top right, like the middle right, oh, it lagged out. Sometimes it doesn't quite look right. If you look on the right there, where above the interest it says clock 0/50, you have 50 total hours you can spend on him a week, and 5 of that's social media. But what you can do is you can press triangle to remove that, and you can just either send the whole house his way. And so you're going to learn a lot about him real quick, and you're giving him the most influence. It's going to go up the ladder, which will help you compete against Syracuse and Rutgers. All right, and so that's like the second week step. So like this one, we'll do 25. Maybe we'll do 25. So, guys who are really good, maybe you want to send more time. Like if you really want a new quarterback, you send the 50, whatever, however you go. I would say if a guy is like far and away interested in, let's see if we're really ahead of the curve in any of these. No. Sometimes you're so far ahead of everyone else. Like you can see we're third place here in the middle there. So we definitely want to spend more energy on him. There's times where you're far and away first place. You don't need to spend as much energy because you don't have as much competition. All right, so that makes sense. Definitely want to add more prospects. You want kind of a full 30, 25 to 30 lot. I'm trying to see if I can get you that diamond. I'm just adding random people to try and scout and show. He's already been scouted. And you don't ever have to scout them, technically. So, like, if you pick a bad school, for some reason a 4-star person is interested in you, they're probably going to be good for you no matter what. So you don't need to scout them all. Dang, still haven't found any diamonds. That's crazy. Well, anyways, what happens is when you can fully scout a guy, a green diamond pops up, and it either will stay by his name or his picture, or it'll be like X'd out. And what that means is they've got a green diamond, they are actually going to be 1 star better than what they're rated. So this guy would turn from a 2-star to a 3-star. And if they don't, then they'd be actually 1 star worse. So he'd go down to a 1 star, which is obviously not as good. And so you just got to kind of keep doing that. So let's check in. Let's see how we progress. Hufanga, we're 3rd place. We're sending 50 hours his way. Uzama, we're 4th place and in 25 hours. Bridges, we're 3rd place. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take away from Scruggs to really see here. Because Bridges, there's not a lot of influence here. Right, we're 3rd place and it's low. So we're going to send a lot more his way. And I think we can maybe take 1st place pretty quickly and easily. Yeah, so that's good. Let's send this week and see if we make the jump. Excuse me. So this guy here, Spain. Oop, I always forget how that works. So this guy here, Spain, we're 8th place, but he's down to his 5 schools, so we got eliminated. So we would take him off our board. Same thing with this guy here. We weren't in his. He committed to Temple, so he just straight up, reached a decision. So what we do is you go to your recruiting board, and they will no longer be locked out. So you just hold triangle, remove him, and this one here, Goodwin, you just remove him. So now you can see in the top right, we only have 200 hours available because, like I said, these here are reoccurring. So we're spending 50 hours on him every week. So Bridges, you could see, we jumped up a lot to 1st place. We passed Rutgers and Virginia, and we're pretty high. Like, we're 70% of the way full, so we're doing good there. The big thing, if you look here, look at that P tier to the right. We only have a 1. That means we only have 1 pipeline, meaning we have like 1 connection for him to our school. Maybe one of our coaches is from New York or something like of the sort, where Rutgers, which I don't know if you know is in New York, Rutgers has 5 pipeline to him, meaning we're going to have a hard time beating Rutgers. It doesn't mean we can't, it just means there's a lot of connection. Where like Temple is got 3, Syracuse has got 3, etc. Duke down there has none. We moved up to number 2 with Uzama with only 25, and then we moved up to number 1 with Hufanga with our 50 hours spent. So because we're pretty far ahead with Hufanga, something we could possibly do is we could stop sending the house his way, and we could maybe just, contact friends and family, right? So we'll only spend 25 on him, so we can divert those resources somewhere else, all right? And so you just keep on going with that. If you look here, schedule a visit, you can't do that until he's down to 5 schools. So none of these guys, they're all top 8. If you look underneath their stars, it just says top 8, so none of them are there yet. This guy's here is top 5. So we could schedule a visit, but I guess we have to at least offer him a scholarship first, maybe. Offer a scholarship. Yeah. So once we offer him a scholarship, we can schedule a visit, and you can pick the week that you're at home, and you can see here on the right the better teams that you play against. You get more bonus if you win. You lose less if you lose, where Rice is not a very good school, so if we win, it doesn't really impress him that much. If we lose, it's scares him. And then the hard thing, the reason why I don't want to schedule visits too early is when you schedule a visit, you have to pick a topic to talk about. And so for him, we already know he really wants to go close to home, and we got a B+. But you can see here, there's so many that are question marks, and you might not know what they're interested in, right? Like, see this guy here, Jimmy Brewer, we have no idea what he really cares about. So scheduling a visit now here would probably mess us up. And then another thing you get to do, last thing I'll talk about, is you get to do pitches. And these cost less points than sending the house, but can give you just as much influence. And you can sway them. They give you good influence. But you need to know the topics they care about. And if you don't know, and you do a sway or a pitch, and you're on a wrong category, then you could really piss them off, and they won't like you as much. And so you just got to kind of keep doing that over and over again. Trying to pick. I would definitely try and balance out your class. You want to get offenders and defenders. Just the most talent you can get. You can get up to 35 guys, but it's okay if you only get like 25. That's fine. Not everyone's going to commit during the season. There's an off season where you get to do 4 weeks of recruiting. So, you'll get some guys during the season, but a lot of your guys too, you won't come to the very end. So that's a brief intro. Hopefully it helps a little bit.